the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your June forecast for Cancer Sun, Cancer Rising, and Cancer Moon. So I'll be looking at your major love lessons and 3 of the most significant dates connected to love during this month. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be romantic love. This is just an important, intimate relationship somewhere in your life. So your lessons center around the Emperor. For some of you, that may mean an Aries person, but for others of you, you may be very focused on authority, your own or that of others. And this is likely to be a period where you're either entering or exiting a very stressful time. Now, for some of you, perhaps this relates to work or a company that you're involved with, or a superior, a boss, a supervisor. It may relate to land or real estate holdings or a project. Whatever it is, there's something that you would like to put on firm footing. You want to establish something for the long term. And this is going to be a period where your efforts are guided by your sense of security, your sense of belonging, and you're going to want to know where you stand with regard to some matters. So you're going to be more assertive during this period, more direct, so that you can get the answers that you need. So this is about taking on leadership responsibility, and in fact, you may be given more authority or control in some area, whether that's a project or some kind of responsibility that you're taking on. And it's likely that you're willing to do this because you want to provide for your own success, happiness, and well-being. So you may be very determined, very direct, very assertive right now. On the other hand, negatively, perhaps you're having to look at how power is used. Being domineering or aggressive or abusive is not real power, but in fact shows a lack of self-worth and self-confidence. So you may be looking at bullying behavior, even, with regard to others. Maybe you're meeting with that, or you yourself are having to face the way you try to wield your own personal power. It could be a failure to step up to the plate and take command. So this is about facing the music. There's a strong sense of responsibility, taking on demands, and dealing with the consequences of past behavior. Now, your affirmation is, I am willing to give and receive abundant love. So there are probably lessons on both ends. You can't be so authoritative that you're going to control everything, but you never receive anything as far as love. So this is learning how to make that equal exchange. It's that balance in power. Now, what are the 3 most significant dates for you this month? You have the 17th of June, the 14th, and not yet. So one of these dates, there's the potential, but something is blocked for a particular reason. So let's look at that first. You have the Justice card and Strength. So the strength of some kind of decision that needs to be made. For some of you, this may be a legal matter. Whatever it is, there's a need to right the scales of balance, whether that's balance in your personal life versus your professional life, maybe trying to choose between 2 partners. This also gets back to what I said about an examination of your own conscience. There's a strong focus on being fair and settling debts, being accountable, whether those are emotional debts or financial debts. Now, for some of you, this may tie to children. It could tie to romance, your creativity, self-expression, a business that you've started. But the goal is to restore harmony. But you may have some difficulty making some decisions. You're going to have to really give careful consideration to something and, take control, the authority to move forward. So that means if you have any issues regarding self-doubt, self-confidence, you're going to have to look at where maybe your decisions are being driven by fear. Fear of failure, fear of letting others down, fear of recrimination, fear of not being good enough, not being worthy, fear of being alone. So you're dealing with your confidence level. Now you may make a decision, maybe you're confident in your decision, or perhaps you maybe need to get your ego in check, or not say certain things, or do certain things that are driven by ego. This may be a decision about your libido. Is it in check, or is it running out of control? Are you too passionate about something? It could also mean looking at your health. Perhaps you need to restore balance to your health. Are you taking on too much work? Are you in control of a situation? Do you find yourself getting angry or worked up? So, or are you eating properly? Are you exercising? Are you working out? So you have to restore balance. There could also be something you're focused on with regard to a creative project where beauty, line, harmony, balance, color is going to be important, and the strength of that is a determining factor. So this is directing right energy. This card is connected to right. You're having to look at your ego also, where you may be trying to enforce your ideas, the need to be right. So the strength of your character, your leadership skills, how loyal you are, how devoted you are. For some of you, there's a strong tie to perhaps a Libra person or a Leo person, or somebody with a combination. But for others of you, this is about the strength of your decisions. But something about an occurrence in the month of June is not going to happen, because this is what's going on behind the scenes. There's a date that's not going to come to pass because you're reviewing the strength of a decision. And it may be connected to feeling trapped. Maybe you're trying to decide whether you want to free yourself from an obligation, a contract, a marriage, a relationship. There's something being held back where you feel you're not able to manifest your best self. There's something you can't say. Maybe you're holding back your emotions or some changes that you want to make. You're not able to fly the way you want to. So the strength of a decision where you feel trapped is not moving something forward. And it could be about opening yourself up to love. Now, maybe there's some things that you want to say. You want to make a decision. Maybe it's a decision about romance. There's some things that you feel, and yet you feel you can't say. Maybe you feel closed off to love, or you've been unable to open your heart up, or someone that you're with is closed off. So something isn't occurring. There's a delay specifically because of this situation. And your advice is just do it. Do it. Stop holding yourself back. Whatever that decision is, you may be weighing the pros and cons, the strength of a decision. Again, this has a strong tie to Libra, and Libra can struggle with making decisions because they're so concerned with doing the right thing, what's fair, being objective. This says you're going to have to step out there and do it. Now, on the 14th, you have 7 of Pentacles and 4 of Cups. So this is more of that waiting. Maybe you're dissatisfied about waiting for some kind of gain. There's something where perhaps you invested your time, your money, your energy, your love, your feeling, whatever it was, and you're waiting for a return on that. Now, maybe you want somebody to reciprocate something, or you were waiting for somebody to make an offer. But a lot of patience is called for in this situation, and maybe someone's pride has gotten in the way, and somebody has reached saturation point with the conditions. So you may be taking a time out to rethink some recent choices, or perhaps you waited because you were considering the potential pitfalls of an offer. Maybe somebody presented something to you in good faith or vice versa, and yet you had the foresight to think, well, if I take this, there could be ramifications. that you probably haven't considered. So maybe I want to step back. It could be, again, on either end, you're having to be patient with something. You're rethinking your investment, and perhaps you missed an opportunity by waiting. Something was offered, and maybe you were so absorbed in, something that you were, involved in, a project, another pursuit, that you missed this opportunity that somebody placed on the table. There's definite prompting from the universe for you to pay attention. The universe is trying to tell you something. So listen closely to your intuition. Perhaps it's that you're not facing the present truth. Something that you thought would never change has indeed changed, but you are refusing to accept that. So this is some dissatisfaction, some apathy, some boredom, where you've just been waiting. Maybe the focus has been on your resources or some form of security. There's been a lack of faith in a situation. But you're going to have to reconsider whether some of the choices that you made are indeed the right choices. So this is going to come about on the 14th. And it's provoked perhaps by some kind of message. This may be where writing is important in the mix, or you're going to send or receive some kind of love message or an invitation. It's likely to be written, but it could be a phone call, but it could be a text message, something over the internet, an email, a letter, some form of correspondence where maybe you were dissatisfied with what you've received or what you've sent out or waiting for it. And there's a strong focus on it. Maybe, you're fantasizing and you're not really taking the action, and that's the issue. Or something was said and that's all you can think about. It's a one-track focus. Or it could be that somebody has put something out there, but you actually see through it. Maybe you don't trust the motivation behind it or the intention. Or maybe your mind is just running away with you. So the 14th, you're going to have to consider some kind of message, whether, the offer, you're waiting for an offer, or you want to wait to do something, or should you accept. Your advice is your move. Okay, so you have to decide what you want to do. Now, remember, in the past, something didn't occur because of the strength of your decision-making skills, where you're encouraged to just do it. And now we're at this place where it's your move. Now, on the 17th, you have 6 of Cups and 8 of Cups. So you're leaving the past behind, or something about maybe someone from your past walked away because maybe there wasn't action taken. So you're very focused on memories and your past connections. Maybe this ties to your children, an old lover, an ex, friends, rekindling something, renewing it based on the nostalgia and feelings that you had in the past. Now, for some of you, maybe there's an opportunity to reconnect. Something that you thought was over and done with, where the person had walked away or moved on, you get to reconnect because of some past good deeds or some kind words. There's a return of the favor. The seeds you planted are coming in for harvest. And if those were good seeds, you're being rewarded. On the other hand, depending on something that happened before that you had to reconsider, an indiscretion, a mistake, an error, an oversight, you're having to go back over old ground. And something is making an unwelcome reappearance, whether that is a person, a situation, or a matter. So your memories, you're trying to maintain that equilibrium. You may be looking at the past. Maybe you want to connect with someone from the past. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you want to go somewhere that you've been before. Some of you, maybe this ties to something hiking or walking. But for many of you, this is about looking at situations that you didn't feel good about. You didn't get the emotional fulfillment that you wanted. And maybe you're looking for something new, a new relationship, a new location, And maybe, in about a month's time, you will see how whatever action you've taken, how it plays out. This also ties to chemistry that you've had with someone. There could have been this very intense, passionate connection to somebody. This may be, again, an old lover, an old flame, a friend. And maybe this person has left and you're reconnecting, or you walked away because the chemistry wasn't there, but something about attraction. Maybe this was a sexual encounter, a physical encounter. This could have been maybe, something you regretted. Maybe you had a physical encounter and you walked away because it wasn't the right thing or the right time. So chemistry is important in this situation tied to the past, where there's been some bad luck, where you've maybe, again, not taking the opportunity or not acting on something or not having the right circumstance present is an issue. The underlying cards are Five of Wands, Dead End, and Discernment. So you have been struggling with some issues. And it could be, again, something took off, you get to this point, and then suddenly the door closes. You feel like you can't make any progress. There's a no-win situation. It could be some ego battles where you're hashing out the same old issues, going round and round, but not finding any real answers. You could be struggling with the fact that a relationship is not really going anywhere. So being very discerning about where something is headed and what kind of potential it has is going to be very important. One of you could be wearing a game face, acting like you don't care, and that creates the dead end situation. Or one of you could be trying to figure out, why did this end up nowhere? Or one of you is hiding your true self or your true feelings. Or it could be that there's something that you just haven't seen. You need to really look closer at something. So something is being masked. You're struggling with something. Masking your emotions, or something not being altogether truthful, and struggling with the dead end that it has led to. All right, so again, your lessons are about taking personal authority and responsibility for situations, knowing how to participate in equal exchanges, making decisions where there's fairness and balance, and looking at the past to see what parts of it you need to leave behind, maybe what parts you want to take into the future. There's something that is requiring you to make a decision, to make a move. Your last advice is take the risk. So you have a lot of messages about moving forward. Do it. It's your move. Take the risk. Step out there. All right, Cancer, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notify bell button. Also, be sure to let me know how these things played out for you according to those dates.